Hello everybody, welcome back. I am Jason bringing you today's episode of 10 Minute Reviews. My fuzzy co-star Freya has decided she wants to run downstairs instead of attacking my face. I'm sure she'll be up like a fur missile shortly. As always guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We tell this to you guys every time, but we are a small little family channel. This is just, I'm upstairs in my house. This is just me, the wife, the fuzzy one, and a whole bunch of books, and we love to talk about books, and we love to get more books out there for people, and we really love to support indie authors. So please support us. We'd appreciate any support you guys might want to give us. Don't forget to check down below for the links to today's book, anything else that might be applicable, and by the way, thank you to our patrons. Really appreciate that. That's actually how we buy physical copies of some of these indie authors' books, is through our patronage, so that we can take the patrons and in turn go through and help some of the indie authors by actually buying physical copies of their books. It's funny that I buy a book after I read it, but I'll read it on my Kindle Unlimited or something like that, and then once a month or so I want to support an indie author, and I just go buy one of the books I already read. So today is another small author. I want to talk about Alan Horne and his book Advent 9. Advent 9. Now, this is a slight departure from a lot of the other books that we've reviewed on here. I mean, I review a little bit of everything from westerns to science fiction, to horror, to mysteries, to thrillers, older books, older authors, newer books, newer authors. Like to focus on indie authors, of course, but this might actually be the first time that I'm reviewing what would be considered a YA novel. It's actually kind of borderline, but it would definitely be considered a YA novel. But this was a really, really, really good book, guys. I'm going to try and do my usual 4 categories. I tend to go off on tangents, but I'm going to try and do my 4 categories: the world, characters, plot, and the writing style. And so the world is basically our type of world. It's a fictional world, fictional Hearth City, but for the most part, it's pretty much they're basically our technology level. There are heroes. Supposedly, there used to be superpowered heroes. In theory, now there is not. There's only one that we'll get into in a moment. And of course, we've got our supervillains. But for the most part, it's, again, basically modern technology. There is some super tech, a lot of super tech actually, and super science that comes out. But otherwise, the world would not seem any different than our world, really, except maybe a little darker at times. Now, the main character, and this is probably the reason that you would consider this a YA novel, because the main character is a child. The main character is probably 16. They don't actually know how old he is. His name is Advent 9, and that is the only name he has, the only name he goes by. And he's got some interesting circumstances in how he lives, what kind of life he has, and I'm not going to go into those. There's going to be some spoilers, there always is, and it's tough to review a book without talking a little bit about the book, but as far as his living conditions, how he lives, what he does with his life, secret identities, things like that, I'm going to avoid. But I will say that it's a fascinating, it's an interesting part of the story. And I would almost say that there are 2 main characters in this book. We do have Advent 9, and then Felix or Dr. Antiworld. You could even go with a third possible main character that I'll get into when I talk about the plot of the book. But for the most part, I would say it's these 2, and they are antagonists. So you've got the good guy, Advent 9, the hero, with a very interesting and very weird power set that, again, I'm not going to get into because it's spoilers, but it does play a big part of it. In fact, I will say that the main hooks to this book were actually the mysteries that the author managed to hold for me. What exactly is going on with Advent 9 as far as his powers go? What the hell is going on with Felix as far as his history and what's going to happen from there? In fact, I have to say those 2 were my primary hooks, and Felix is probably my biggest hook in this book. There were some parts of this book I wasn't a big fan of. One of them I will talk about shortly. But I was definitely hooked, just wondering what exactly is going on with Advent 9 and his powers that just are interesting and myriad. And especially, what is going on with Felix? Who exactly is he? Why? Just why? There's so much why. I'm actually really looking forward to book 2 if Felix is in it. I will tell you that if book 2 focuses on Advent 9 and another, some other characters that I really, really, really hope he's able to grip me the same way, because otherwise I want to know what's going on with Felix. To me, Felix was the main character of this book, or the best character. Now, the plot. We've got Advent 9, who is a damaged hero. He's definitely a damaged hero. He's the only remaining hero. He's a child. He's uneducated, and has a few other issues, one of which I will talk. It will be a little bit spoilers, but it is the one thing I actually don't like about the book. And his antagonist, Felix. And through some failed endeavors of Felix's, they end up trapped together for a little while, and in a way end up having to team up to fix Felix's mistake, because he attempts to bring another super-powered being into existence that is, in a way, theoretically going to be the ultimate evil. And unfortunately, he succeeds beyond his wildest dreams. And Felix is not truly as evil as he would be portrayed, as people may think he is. So he definitely regrets it, and he needs to fix his issue. Another way he can fix it is with Advent 9's help. So he needs to help, but he also needs to help Advent 9. He needs to learn more about him in order to be able to do that. And I would say about half of the book deals with their initial meeting and helping each other out through this area they're trapped in, and Felix learning about Advent 9. Advent 9 is not learning a whole lot about Felix, but Felix learning about Advent 9. Then you've got the last, third of the book or so that deals with trying to fix Felix's mistake, and a little bit, and learning a little bit more about the characters. But for the most part, the big bulk of it and most of the fascinating part is right there. Now, what's the one thing I do not like about this book? So Felix is supposed to be a doctor. Before he became a super scientist, before he became an evil criminal mastermind, he was a doctor, a medical doctor is how he is very much how he portrays himself. I can't think of a single medical doctor that will not see the most obvious signs of autism at all, and yet he is just absolutely blind. I spotted it within pages. Now, sure, it doesn't help that I'm on the spectrum, that I've done a lot of research in the spectrum, but some of these symptoms are so widely known, so incredibly known, that they're just out there just slapping you in the face, and there's no way that a medical doctor could not spot it. And along with that, the other thing that I'm not a huge fan of, mostly the portrayals of autism, especially Advent 9 would be lower, obviously much lower on the spectrum than I am, but for the most part, the portrayals of autism and the struggles of autism are definitely portrayed well. But there are a lot of things about autism that are glossed over, that are not explained. Like exactly what is autism, that could have been explained with just one simple sentence. I mean, autism, it's a neurodevelopmental disorder. The brain just works differently. But unfortunately, the way it is portrayed in this book, and actually specifically said in this book multiple times, is as a disease, as an incurable disease, things that require therapy and training to overcome. And yes, some people lower on the spectrum absolutely do need things along those lines, but it's definitely portrayed as abnormal. And unfortunately, if you look at statistics these days, I mean, it's 1 in 44, and not too long ago it was 1 in 150, and they're pretty sure that the percentage is actually significantly higher even than 1 in 44. I doubt it's more than 1 in 20, more 1 in 30, but we're getting real close to the actual true percentage, and it is a large percentage of the population. So there's a huge percentage of the population that are neurodivergent that nobody knows about, and it is absolutely not a disease. Yes, it is incurable because it doesn't need to be cured. The brain just, again, works differently, which is why a lot of extremely famous people throughout history that have done amazing things were autistic, because their brains work differently. Albert Einstein, likely autistic. Elon Musk, likely autistic. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, various throughout history, poets and artists and scientists. Tesla probably was. Darwin almost definitely was. People that have changed the world were autistic. So some of the ways that it is described in the book I absolutely could not stand. But outside of that, it's fantastic. The book was fantastic. Like I said, very, very gripping. Very gripping. As far as the writing style goes, this is a darker book. Definitely a darker book. Advent 9 really struggles with a lot of things, and there's a lot of pain and days in a lot of darkness. That's why I say it's borderline YA, because there's a lot of things in this book that are pretty freaking dark. So, not a true YA book. You guys just got to check it out. After you hit the like and subscribe buttons, go check out Advent 9 by Alan Horne. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now.